All right, what's up, everyone? If you're a trader that's been struggling to getting funded or you're struggling to getting a payout, please watch this video because I'm going to talk about one thing, and it's probably the most important thing as a trader, and that is having a structure, having a system, right? Because when you have a lack of structure in your life and in trading, you're not going to get good results, right? When you think lack of structure, it's really doing things, when you feel like it, right? You're not doing things based off of a checklist or based off of a routine. You're just doing what you feel like, right? And in trading, when you have a lack of structure, it's also doing things based off of how you feel, based off of your emotions. Now, when you think of emotional trading, it's bad habits, right? Over trading, over leveraging, doing too much. We all know what the bad habits in trading are. And those bad habits are based off of your emotions. And don't get me wrong, you can definitely get results from over trading and over leveraging. You can definitely get a payout that way, don't get me wrong. But you're not going to get consistent payouts that way, right? You're not going to get consistent results doing things based off of how you feel all of the time because your emotions are not as consistent, right? We're all humans. We can wake up one day very happy, and the next day we can wake up groggy or upset. And that's fine. We're humans. Um, so, how do you put a structure in your life and in your trading that could somehow make you money, that could somehow make you successful? Well, number one, I would ask yourself, or I would ask myself, what am I doing before trading? Am I waking up and going straight to the charts? Or am I doing a nice little morning routine, getting mentally prepared for trading? What am I doing in the morning consistently? And for you, if that's just waking up and going to the charts, don't get me wrong, you can definitely succeed. But I would suggest getting your mind right, right? Have an understanding of what's going on up there before even heading to the charts. The way you do that is simply by just meditating or even praying, right? But most importantly, take a break from this in the morning. Take a break from your phone. Take a break from the electronics. Take a break from the noise, right? And listen to yourself. What are you thinking about in the morning? Are you anxious? Are you overly excited to trade? Get mentally prepared to do something that is very emotional driven, right? We all know when there's fear in the market, it sells off. When there's greed, it's going up, right? Like there's a lot of emotions based off of, the charts or whatever. But when you trade with emotions, we all know, that's not good. But anyways, I'm getting off track here. Have a structure before you trade, okay? Now, when you actually start trading, also have a structure, right? How many trades are you going to take? How much are you going to risk? What's your daily loss limit? And I wanted to talk about daily loss limit as well because a lot of traders, actually, I'm not even going to talk about that yet. I want to talk about, our nervous system because us as humans, whenever we lose, not just in trading, in real life, it sets like a fight or flight, right? It upsets us. I have the quote here that I really wanted to mention. Where is it? Oh, right here. Every time you take a loss, your brain literally sees it as danger and it triggers a fight or flight response. Meaning, every time you take a loss in trading, your brain is like, hold on, we can make this back, right? Because you see it as a loss and you can make it right back. And don't get me wrong, you can definitely make it right back, but it's also 50-50, right? And over a long period of time, if you always are like, I can make this back, let me do it right now. Again, it's 50-50. So over a long period of time, you're not going to be successful with that. Okay, so with the daily loss limit, a lot of traders don't follow it because they're always like, I can make this back. And once you hear that little voice in your head that's like, you can definitely make this back. Don't listen to it, because over a long period of time, you're not going to be successful making it back. So just walk away. All right, but I'm getting off topic here. So I want to talk about now, what are you doing after trading? What's your system slash structure after you trade, right? We've all heard the journaling, the gym, all of these things, but are you actually implementing one of those things, right? Don't just be the person that finishes trading but still lingers around the charts, right? Don't be that type of person, because remember, you started trading for freedom. You didn't start trading so you can be staring at the charts for 6 hours a day. You started trading so you can make a bunch of money in an hour and do whatever you want for the rest of the day, right? So make sure after you finish trading, of course, journal your trades, journal your emotions, journal what you did that made you 1% better, and do things that fulfill you, right? Don't just scroll. It's not going to do much for you as a trader, right? So build a structure outside of trading. Build a structure on what you do after trading as well. It doesn't have to be very complicated. It could just be something that has to do with discipline, right? For me, when I was in school and I was trading, a big thing for me was homework, right? I hated doing homework, but I made it a thing that after I finished trading, what's one way of practicing discipline? It was by doing homework, right? For me now, most of the time is just, working on my business, going on a walk, going to the gym, doing chores. It's very boring. I'm not going to lie. But for me, being boring is way better than not doing anything, right? It's way better than doing pointless things. Like, I don't know, you guys know the pointless thing, like scrolling. Being boring is gonna be way more beneficial, especially in the future, especially when it pays off, you know? So, the point of this whole video is just me telling you, have a system for what you're gonna do before you actually start trading, have a system for what you do in trading, and have a system for what you do after trading. Why? Because you're getting used to following a system. And in trading, you need to follow a system. It can't just be based off of things that you feel, right? It can't be based off of a lack of structure, because again, a lack of structure is based off of your emotions, and your emotions aren't consistent. So get used to doing things when you don't even want to do them, right? For me, in trading, most of the time that I'm following the system, sometimes I don't even take a trade. I don't want to do that. Of course, I want to get in the trade, but I'm following a system that's going to allow me to get payouts, right? To get funded, right? So it's a very simple tip, but I feel like it's very powerful. And I think a lot of, especially beginner traders, need that, right? And I mean, think about it too. When you envision the profitable version of yourself, what is that person actually doing, right? There's no way the profitable version of yourself wakes up and goes straight to the charts. Maybe there is, maybe, but most likely not. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Remember, follow a system, have a structure in your life and in trading, and it's gonna somehow eventually bring money, right? Because it's not going to be based off your emotions anymore. It's going to be based off of a system that works. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this was a quick psychology video, but thank you for watching.